What's good, YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you some tips that'll help you improve your FPS or performance in game. These are for PC, so if you're on console, I'm sorry. But if you are on PC, you're in luck because I got a few simple tweaks that should help you out if you're having stutters, especially with this season. The game is just very unstable and just doesn't perform very well. So anyway, I'm going to start with the in-game tips first. So make sure, unless you're running stretch res, make sure you're running full screen and not windowed full screen. Windowed full screen renders your desktop under your game, which is just unnecessary because you're not using your desktop. So make sure you're on full screen exclusive so it renders only your game, and this should get you higher frame rates because it prioritizes your game and makes it so that you're not rendering useless things. The next tip is obviously be on performance mode, and then be on low meshes if you want the best performance. I like high meshes though, because the next thing is something that I don't see anybody talk about, and it's the post-party integration. So Epic added this a little while ago. It's called post-party, and basically it's just clipping integrated into Fortnite, which is pretty cool, and I like that they added it, but it does hurt your performance ever so slightly. Not terribly, but ever so slightly. So if you want the best performance, you can come over here, and if any of this is enabled, if you have these options, just turn them off. You don't have to turn this one off, this one doesn't really matter, but this one you should turn off if you aren't using it. I'm actually not using it, so I'm going to turn it off. The next one is one that everyone talks about. It's turn your replays off. But what they don't talk about is that with every patch, for some reason, whenever I come back down here, they're always on again. So I've had to turn them back off like a couple times now. It's really weird. But yeah, just make sure yours are still off. Next up, we're moving into the Epic Games Launcher configurations. So you're going to want to head to your game library. Now, I have a bunch of games here, so I got to scroll down to find Fortnite. But a lot of you just play Fortnite, so you'll have a couple games here maybe. So first, you want to go here to options. And in options, you want to make sure, a lot of people say have high resolution textures on gives you better FPS, which I actually found in my study that it only gets you better FPS if you have an RTX card. So if you have an RTX card, then use high resolution textures. Check this box. If you don't have an RTX card, which means you have anything under a 2060, make sure you have this unchecked. I have a 1660 Super, so I'm going to have this unchecked. But DX12 shaders doesn't matter. Pre-download streamed assets, it's very important for your ping especially and your FPS. So make sure you have that downloaded, and then nothing else here matters other than having the obvious, game installed. The next thing you want to do in here is something I don't see a lot of people talk about, and that is going actually to these manage option here, going down to these launch options and just typing in exactly what I have here. Dash, no splash, one word, space, dash, use all available cores. This should help your performance, especially if you're on an older system. This will definitely help your performance tremendously. So while the game is loading, come down to your taskbar right here. Right click and open Task Manager, or you can do it this way and type it in over here. Just type Task Manager, it'll pop up. Either way, you'll get the same app. So once you open it, it'll be here. Now, most of you should be familiar with Task Manager, but if you're not, this is just showing the programs that are running on your computer. Okay, so once you're actually in the Task Manager app, what you want to do is you want to go here, you want to go to your Fortnite, and you want to go to Details, and it'll take you here. And you want to make sure that you have this set priority Fortnite client. You want to make sure you have this one set to high. I'm just going to do that. And then this one set to real time. So I currently cannot do this setting for some other optimizations I have on my computer, but you all should be able to do this just fine. If you can't, comment below and I'll try to help you all. But you should be able to do this. I currently can't because of some other programs I have on my computer, but you should be able to. The next thing I want to talk about is drivers. Now, there's a lot of, misconceptions with drivers. People said they're the best drivers for Fortnite that will get you better frames in Fortnite, which isn't true. This was true a couple months to a year ago. This was true, but for all new drivers, they all perform the same on Fortnite. They all have the best frame rates. So you want to make sure you have the best drivers installed for your graphics card. To do that, you just want to come down to your GeForce Experience, come over here to drivers, and make sure you have the best ones for the game ready version. I've seen a couple people, you'd be surprised how many people actually get the studio version of the drivers and don't realize that they're running the studio version. So just make sure you have the game driver installed. Now, while we're in here, I want to get to the juicy stuff. So, right here, you're going to see an in-game overlay thing. Now, I have this off because this hurts your FPS. Okay, but for this tip, you're going to need to turn this on because you have to get to this menu. Once you're in this menu, you want to go to performance. Now, you're going to see this right here. This is for a select number of you that are willing to overclock your computers. So, this is a completely safe way to do so. It will automatically tune your graphics card. This is completely through NVIDIA, so it's completely legit, completely safe. Basically what this does is it scans your GPU, sees the temperatures and the clock speeds and stuff of what your GPU is capable of, and then tunes your GPU to do the best it can under the circumstances that it's in. So I currently have this off because it was getting very hot in my room and my AC was broken, so I currently have it off, but I will eventually turn it back on when the summer is over. But if you don't have a heat problem in your room, you can absolutely turn this on. It will make your game run way smoother. It actually fixed my stutters. I was having stutters for the longest time this season. It fixed my stutters completely, so definitely recommend this setting. After you're done with that, make sure when you exit out of that, you turn this off because this will hurt your frames tremendously. So you want to come to your settings here and just turn overlay off. Now, while we're in here, we see this setting called image scaling. Now, this setting is one that I don't see a lot of people talk about. Now, if you have a GTX card, you're going to have image scaling. If you have an RTX card, you're going to have DLSS. Now, DLSS and image scaling are both great features when it comes to FPS. I'm sure if you play Call of Duty at all, you've seen people, all the pros use DLSS. DLSS is an amazing feature that gives you more frames. Image scaling is similar, but not on the same level. It's for lower end GPUs, obviously. That's why I can run it on the 1660 Super. But not a lot of people use this setting. And it's a little weird to me because it gives you around anywhere from 10 to 60 more frames. You can turn this on to any rate that you want. So if you prefer a better image quality, you can put it on 85%. If you don't care, you can put it down to 59%. But this will drastically improve your game. And right here you have the sharpness slider. This will basically help with the visual quality. So the higher you put it, the sharper the image is going to be. You can play with that. It takes a little experimenting, but I think it's completely worth it. Next up is another basic one. So you want to come into your NVIDIA control panel and just copy these settings all the way down. These should work for most of you. If you have a better graphics card than me, you might have different settings, but it should work for most of you. If you're watching this video on how to get more frames, I'm sure you don't have a very high-end computer. Last tip I want to talk about is something that I don't see talked about a lot anymore. It used to be talked about a lot more, but Windows has a built-in feature called game mode that you should have on. I don't know why people started turning this off. It doesn't help your gaming experience if you turn this off. I actually just had it off and I didn't even realize. But turn this on. This is absolutely crucial for good frame rates in games. This allows your computer to put priority of your game over other programs, so absolutely turn this on. With that said, that's gonna do it for the video. I could do another video on the programs that I use to get more frames in Fortnite if y'all want that, so comment if you want that, but with that said, peace.